be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question now is that Part 2 as amended stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question now is that Part 3 stand part. Are you taking a call? You must call, Mr. Chair. Right, I can.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
A point of order,
Mr. Chair, one of the issues with the lack of sound in the House is actually the inability to be heard when one stands in attempts to take a call. And so I would like to draw the attention to the House that that is an issue on this side of the House, which is the opposition.
Yes, I'm very cognisant of what the Speaker said. I've looked around to see if any member is on their feet seeking a call. And when that did not happen, I proceeded. Now, I will do that on each occasion. I said, is any member seeking the call? I will put the motion.
Yeah,
right. A point of order, Chris Farfoy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not going to challenge the ruling that you made in Part 1, where I did try and seek a call at the very end of that debate, but I get the funny feeling that you may not have seen me stand up or heard me speak when I did ask for a call on Part 1.
Yes, I did see the member stand up, and I chose to let the House determine whether it would take a closure. I saw that. I then was very careful on the next occasion, as I will be now, as I put the question that Part 3 stand part. Oh. So, I'll put... are you seeking the call?
Mr. Chair.
Claire Curran.
For the second time, Mr. Chair. Point of order, Mr. Chair.
A point of order.
Mr. Chair, I accept that I don't have the loudest voice in this House, but I have on 2 occasions now stood up here and said, Mr. Chair, attempting to take a call.
I did not see the member stand when I looked around.
Well...
And I did not see the member, and I looked around.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
A point of order, Claire Curran.
Mr. Chair, I accept I'm not the tallest member in the House either, but I have on 2 occasions now stood here and said, Mr. Chair.
In regard to a call? Because I asked,
in regards
is anybody
to a call,
seeking a
but
call?
I did not have the microphone, and my point is, Mr. Chair, that without the microphone, that the opposition members in the House are compromised unless they have extraordinarily loud, booming voices or happen to be maybe around 6 foot tall.
I'll hear Louise Upson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If the member is referring to any calls in Part 2, clearly no one stood, so therefore no one called in Part 2. We're now on Part 3. The member sought a call and she's been given it, so I'm not sure why we just don't carry on.
That is precisely the point. I actually took the precaution of saying, is some member seeking the call, and looked around. I did the same again on Part 3, and I've acknowledged the member has the call on Part 3 if the member wants that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Claire
with
Curran.
Pleasure. I'd like to take a call on Part 3 of the bill, which, under some duress in the House, we're attempting to debate. The point that is to be made around this bill is around the fact that it achieves some measures that are going to ensure that we do tidy up and provide some tinkering around a number of bills, some of which are just being amended, 31 of which are being repealed bills and are bills that need to go. As we've heard from the Honourable Leanne Dalzell and other speakers, this bill came out of a process that has been ongoing for a number of years. It was the outcome of the Quality Regulation Review, which was led by Leanne Dalzell during the former Labor government, when the first Regulatory Improvement Bill was introduced, which then was an omnibus bill as well, as we are seeing here today, a number of years later. And it was put in by the incoming national government. and under the name of Rodney Hyde, and has now been transferred to the Honourable John Banks. We have been calling all night for him to take a call on this bill, because there's been a number of important issues raised and points raised around the impact of this, the savings that it will make, and I suppose the bigger regulatory reforms that it leaves out and aren't being covered in this bill, which a number of colleagues have made reference to. We know that annual regulatory improvement bills are a very sensible way to ensure quality regulation, but we have expressed a lot of concern about the process of this bill through the House and how it's been held up, and whether or not it actually achieves anything particularly major. There are some issues that it does deal with those 13 amendments, with those particular acts, which it will cover, and I was making reference to the importance of the electronic shareholder participation. Another change that it includes is amending the Films, Videos and Publications Classification Act, which will reduce compliance costs as well, and which we received a number of submissions on during the progress of this bill through the House. And this was quite an important issue that was referred to by submitters as ensuring that essentially the Films, Videos and Publications Act 1994 since early 2009, and that there was going to be film and video labelling body is currently permitted to cross-rate film titles from Australia and the United Kingdom. Sorry, I'm just leaving. You need a microphone.
Cheryl Moore. Oh, sorry. Right. Just testing. Mr. Chairman, the member, with all due respect, appears to have moved on to part 5 of the bill. We are debating part 3 at the moment, so just to keep this brief and to the point. No, but we don't need to spend all night here. That's our job.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With reference to Part 3 of the Regulatory Reform Bill, which is around the Companies Act 1993, which is one of the 13 acts which is being amended, and it's actually Part 3 of, well, there's a number of acts which are being amended, and the Companies Act is just one of them, and the Companies Act is 1993. And, well, the other acts, well, we've covered off the Agricultural Compounds and Veterinary Medicines Act 1997, which actually Leanne Dalzell spoke quite knowledgeably about, I have to say. We've referenced, I think there's been some reference to the Animal Products Act 1999, and I do have to acknowledge to the member who leapt to his feet previously that I did actually get ahead of myself a bit by referring to the Films, Videos and Publications Classification Act 1993. And, you know, there are a number of issues associated with all of these particular acts which are being amended. And then, of course, there are the 31 pieces of legislation which are being repealed because they actually don't exist anymore, which does actually, you know, I suppose in the context of tonight when we're standing...
Andrew Williams.